developing the center would not only help address clinical gaps in cancer treatment, but also serve as a driving force for scientific excellence. As every year, the Baltic Assembly has carried out an extensive analysis of implementing our recommendations, which made us draw conclusions about cooperation in general and with specific sectors as well. And despite various challenges, Baltic cooperation remains active and results-oriented. We demonstrate a shared determination to move towards common goals and focusing on the most pressing issues. We have many success stories in this regard, but we have actively continued working on the agreement on the automatic recognition of higher education qualifications signed among the Baltic and Benelux countries, and now the countries are aligning with this agreement. And Poland has also joined or agreed to join, proposed to join this framework. We've also reached progress in the Baltic Regional International Marketing and Communication Strategy. We've already begun coordinating efforts to strengthen our visibility, identifying target markets, strategic regions and events where joint informational and promotional activities could have a positive impact. And for this reason, next year it will be especially important to lay the foundation for a more structured and influential regional strategy. And today, this year's session of the Baltic Assembly does not only reflect on what has been achieved during Latvia's presidency, but we will also discuss the main priorities for next year, when Estonia will take over the presidency. And the details of Estonian presidency will be presented by the head of the Estonian delegation, current and vice president and future presidents of the Baltic Assembly, Mr. Suslov. But finally, I want to thank the Baltic Council of Ministers for continued cooperation and its efforts to strengthen the work of the Baltic states in promoting regional security and development. And I want to thank you for the joint statement that we just signed on the 31st Baltic Council of Ministers. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Vucāns. Now we give floor to head of the Estonian delegation, Mr. Suslov.
Members of media, all the colleagues, all the friends, at your request, it is my great pleasure to be here before you as a next president of the Baltic Assembly, and to present the plans for the next year. First of all, I want to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to the current president of the Baltic Assembly, Jānis, for his leadership throughout this year, and all other members as well of the Baltic Assembly for our very fruitful and active work together. So thank you. We have a very strong foundation to continue at the same pace and further strengthen the cooperation of the Baltic states. Our motto for the next year is unity through connectivity, progress through partnership. It captures the essence of who we are and what we aspire to become in the Baltic states. Unity through connectivity shows that our strength lies in staying connected across the ideas, people and borders. And progress through partnership reminds us all that lasting progress can never be achieved alone. We need cooperation and shared vision. This brings me to the Estonian presidency program. Our priorities are for the next year. Firstly, a secure and resilient region through coordinated strategies. Secondly, strong physical, digital and energy connectivity. And thirdly, innovation-driven regional competitiveness. For the next year, we will emphasize strengthening the common voice of the Baltic states and reinforcing unity and resilience in the region. We will work towards deepening defense cooperation, accelerating key projects and initiatives such as Rail Baltica, Via Baltica, and the Baltic Energy Strategy, and promoting scientific, cultural, and educational excellence. At the same time, the Estonian presidency will work towards advancing sustainability, health, birth rate, and environmental resilience of the Baltic states. I want to mention you just some of the topics that we will cover next year. We will discuss the security supply chain framework and the integration of the defense industry, military and defense research collaboration, competitiveness of the Baltic tourism, ecological education, promoting responsible and innovative use of AI in education and research, tackling declining birth rates in the Baltic states, and many other issues vital for the Baltic states. We will also underscore the need to fortify cooperation between the Baltic Assembly and the Baltic Council of Ministers. We will strongly believe that only through active, well-coordinated engagement between the legislative and executive branches can the Baltic states maximize our collective strength, ensure security and advance regional development, as well as shape long-term progress for the region and beyond. I want to conclude by saying that through unity and partnership, the Baltic states will be better prepared to meet current challenges. Our countries will also be better equipped to seize future opportunities, strengthen regional resilience, and advance our shared prosperity. I look forward to continue our work for the next year. Thank you.
Paldies Suslov kungam, un tagad vārds Lietuvas delegācijai.
Thank you, Mr. Suslov, and now the Lithuanian speaker, the Lithuanian delegation, please.
Thank you very much, colleagues, distinguished guests, distinguished journalists. On behalf of the Lithuanian delegation, I want to thank the colleagues in the Latvian and Estonian delegation for a year full of cooperation, mutual support, and excellent teamwork. The work of the Baltic Assembly depends on our ability to keep the spirit of cooperative alive, and today we have seen this year. My colleagues have already highlighted many important initiatives, yet there are a few additional points that I would like to bring forward. This year, we discussed the importance of keeping the legacy of the Baltic Way alive. The Baltic Way is a source of cooperation and remembrance. We believe that by jointly supporting the annual commemoration of the Baltic Way, our countries can ensure that our shared history continues to strengthen solidarity, fosters resilience, and inspire future generations. A great example of our cooperation in preventing our cultural heritage is also the recently created Signing Heritage Route Association together with Finland. The Baltic states are currently also adapting a common self-assessment tool to evaluate and minimize the environmental footprint of cultural events. This reflects a growing recognition among cultural institutions and public authorities of the need to integrate environmentally responsible practices into the planning and delivery of cultural activities. Considering the audience gathered here today was also fitting to emphasize our ongoing efforts in the field of media and information cooperation. We are working to improve the quality and diversity of news on the events and latest developments in the Baltic region in Latvian, Estonian, Lithuanian, and English. I'm glad to see that the public broadcasters of the public states are actively engaged in ongoing cooperation through their participation in the European Broadcasting Union, which serves as a key platform for knowledge exchange, capacity building, and joint initiatives to promote high-quality independent journalism across Europe. The collaboration plays an important role in supporting editorial standards, multilingual content sharing, and innovation in public service broadcasting. At the national level, the Baltic states are currently in the process of transposing the European Media Freedom Act, which aims to reinforce public broadcast independence, media pluralism, editorial independence, and transparency. These, of course, are the principles that are essential to ensuring that diverse and trusted news is available to the public of the Baltic states. Dear colleagues, at the end of my contribution, I want to emphasize that in today's world, no organization, no nation, and no individual can thrive in isolation. The challenges we face are shared, and the main thing in today's event is unity. Therefore, our decisions must be taken in unity. Cooperation is not simply about working together, it is about listening, understanding, and finding common ground. At the Baltic Assembly, we see firsthand how partnership creates progress. When we unite expertise, resources, and vision, we achieve more than we ever could alone. Thank you for your attention.
Paldies, Drukteiņa kungam.
Thank you, Mr. Drukteinis. Now we will give floor to Madam Baiba Braže, Foreign Minister of Latvia.
All right, I'll speak English to relieve interpreters, at least partially. And it is indeed a great pleasure to be here and participate in this unique event, the Baltic Council, which brings together parliaments and governments and unites both branches of power. And also, in particular, it's my great pleasure to receive my brothers, whom we see regularly each other in different capitals of the world, but actually I think it's the first time we meet in Riga. So, good. And indeed, we are united in much that we do, and that relates both to security and defense. And we have brought changes also within the EU with regard to the sanctions, with regard to the EU's role in making sure that the defense funding and funding for defense is allocated, also supporting NATO's defense plans and capability targets, that both the practicality of our work is reflected in these organizations, but also the northeastern frontline states' understanding of the security environment. So that's why when we look back at the last year, it's not only about the two new NATO's missions, so the Eastern Watch and the Baltic Sentry, Eastern Sentry and Baltic Sentry, but it's also about half of the Russian Shadow Fleet that already has been sanctioned by the EU. So half of the ships existing in the world, so-called Shadow Fleet, have been sanctioned. So our commitment is, of course, also to make sure that we work together with the US within NATO, but also trilaterally, quadrilaterally, and that the US calling us exemplary allies, and that close joint relationship is maintained also for the years to come. And that includes both the defense, security, but also economic relationship and relationship among our diasporas in the US, but also here. For the next year, I'm also happy that our parliamentarians have committed to work together, both in the US, like they did this year with joint visits, and also receiving the members of the Congress, but also working with other allies together, and making sure that initiatives such as Baltic Security Initiative in the US Congress, but also others, are supported. We will continue our joint support to the Ukrainian self-defense. Ukraine's self-defense is indeed covered by the United Nations Charter, Article 51, and we encourage all the countries in the world to provide their support, military, economic, financial, humanitarian, political. We have been successful in all the parts. Russia has not taken more than 1% of Ukraine's territory last year. This year and year to year, and Russia's economy is deteriorating and degrading significantly. Sanctions work. So preparing the next round of sanctions, making sure that we are very practical about it, also with regard to implementation. We have the eastern border that we guard, and that is the EU's and NATO's external border. And that means also additional fundings that we all allocate in our national budgets It's a lot of pressure on the budgets with regard to the sanctions implementation, strengthening military, civilian infrastructure, technological allocations, and so on and so forth. So bringing that back to the EU and NATO table and asking for solidarity, additional funding, presence is something that we do. Because yes, we are very strict in making sure that our eastern border is safe and secure, but also we want the others to participate with very clear understanding and presence. And indeed, our identities are closely related, and it's not just because it is today because of external threats, but it's from the first day of establishment of our statehoods. And we went through that together, through the cultural identity formation together, our universities, our academic fields. When we look at the so-called new Latvians, you know, many of them were studying in Torpat at that time, or Tartu today, and in the same time, the technical university here was the biggest regional center of technical knowledge, but also through the occupation times, throughout the re-establishment of our independence and joining EU, NATO together, that also means strengthening our identities. Our languages are the official languages of the EU, and that forms something that is very unique. The cultural heritage, the language, and it is both for all of us responsibility, but also a privilege to protect. We encourage cultural exchanges, translations. We have the Baltic Language Award with Lithuania and Estonia, Latvian Award with Estonia, and we will continue supporting that on our behalf. And of course, defense industries and private sectors, they work closely together. Anyway, they are biggest investors in each other countries and trading partners and everything there. So it's all closest possible relationship. So that's how we will proceed also in the future, strengthening our collaboration, Nordic, Baltic, EU, NATO, and the wider world. And we work, I look in particular closely together also during our membership in the UN Security Council, yes, on the outreach globally and ensuring that we present a united front there. Thank you.
Paldies Latvijas ārlietu ministrei Baibai Bražei, un tagad vārds.
To thank Madam Baiba Braže, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Latvia. Now we give floor to Margus Tsahkna, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Estonia.
Well, thank you all the Latvian delegation for the very outstanding chairmanship this year. It has been very busy and very, how to say, crazy year, to be honest. That we as a Baltic states, we have been fighting as well for our existential questions. Also, economical situation is not the best in Europe, so this cooperation is very important. And I'm not going to repeat what Baiba already said and mentioned what we have done together as a Baltics, but also together as one of the leading countries. About many important topics concerning the Russian aggression against Ukraine, developing European security, but also many other topics. So thank you, Baiba, again, because, as you said, maybe, I don't know, really, we're first time meeting three of us in Riga, but we are always together everywhere. So it's, for me, it's even understand where we are, because we always see each other, we're coordinating a lot, and this cooperation, I've been on different positions as well in my life in the cabinet of Estonian government, but this cooperation now I see it's very, very real and also not focused on three Baltic states, but we are doing much, much more to secure Europe and also even more. So next year Estonia is taking over the chairmanship of the Baltic Council. And at the same time, we are as well the chairs of the Nordic-Baltic cooperation frame, which is very active, mainly after the Sweden and Finland joined the NATO. So I think that we use these two frames in the shake of the common understanding, but it doesn't take away from the attention from the Baltic cooperation. And of course, Baiba, you mentioned the Latvian Security Council position, which is very important. We witnessed that when Estonian airspace was violated the 19th of September, and then we called the United Nations Security Council meeting, and to have somebody from Baltic states there actively, it is a big thing. It is a big thing, mainly at the same time what we have not only in Europe but globally. So it was a great job. You run the campaign and you were winning, and let's use it as well together next year. Main topics will be, of course, security, traditional security, but also common procurements, common understanding about the drone capabilities. Drone wall is a great word, but actually it means something more different, but a new thing. Of course, connectivity, it's not only rail politics. We have been talking about that, let's do it. But we have other projects as well for that, but it is very important as well on security matters. And of course, Ukraine. I'm not going to repeat what projects we have, but Ukraine is not only about Ukraine, it's about Russia, it's about the values, it's about security, it's about what Europe is doing, and as well transatlantic relations. Baiba mentioned that, but be honest, three of us, we reach out better. We need to work with that. Just Kęstutis came back from US, very important meetings. I'm going this Sunday, but also Baiba is going there. Very soon, we go very often all together, but we need to invest next year as well to transatlantic relations with US, because we are not European Union, but we represent something special. We represent something that the US people believes in, and that's why we need to work together. So I'm not going to continue, so let's see what is happening next year, but this year was great, and my friend Kęstutis maybe will add something. Thank you.
Paldies Igaunijas ārlietu ministram, un tagad...
Thank you so much. And now we are giving the floor to Kęstutis Budrys from Lithuania.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to address today Baltic Assembly. Also opportunity again to meet friends and relatives in so many affairs, Baiba and Margus, and also to discuss issues that are really important for us all, and in which we, as the Baltic countries, with our unity, produce added value and produce more effective results. And that unity that you always mention, sometimes it just disappears somewhere among other words. But in reality, it means a lot. It means that we are acting as the region, as the bloc. We are acting as someone special, as just Margus said. And this special is those countries that are dedicated, that move fast, that are resolute, that mean business. And then talking to the others, when they know that Baltics are coming, or when they will have the meeting with the Baltics, and I'm sure that they are not thinking that, oh, they will ask something, or oh, they need something, oh, they're afraid of something. No, we are coming with the solutions, we are coming with the examples, and we are showing it how it should be done. And these efforts, where we put all of us together in building this strong resilience, line of resilience, resilient front line, whatever we will name it, it will be the future for all the Nordic Baltic region, I'm convinced, and for all the European Union. So with this keyword resilience, I approach the projects with the new approach. There's all projects of Rail Baltica and Via Baltica. We have to do it for the better military mobility. We have to do it for our troops to move faster. We have to do it for our economies to be more resilient and to have the opportunities to diversify better. Same idea within the energy field. Achievement of this year to disconnect from the Russian system, from Brel, and synchronize with Europe. This is a huge achievement, and it brings for us strength. We cannot be threatened again and blackmailed again by Russia, by their conditions, and by disconnecting us from their network. We did it ourselves. This is the achievement. For the case of resilience, we also were the first that absolutely stopped importing oil, gas, and electricity from Russia, from those countries that were dependent. This is the true success story. This is the true example for the others to follow. And that's why we do not take for granted, and we do not take as the serious argument that, oh, we cannot do it the same because we have this pipeline. There is another pipeline. If there is no, just to build one. We didn't have the LNG. Now we have the terminal that we use for the region. And this is the truly successful story to tell also our transatlantic friends, Americans, how we are buying American LNG, and this is how we allow ourselves not to buy Russian LNG. This is the successful story. And it's not about whining, it's about doing the things. And you cannot just go into different capitals and whine about the impossibility to not to buy Russian gas, as some of our partners do. And this is how they disrupt the unity within the European Union and ability of us to act as the normal geopolitical actor, strong vis-a-vis Russia. Resilience, once again, resilience in the hybrid attacks. We've seen instrumentalized migration. Now we see instrumentalized smuggling. And in doing this, we see how regimes weaponizing it again against NATO and EU airspace. We cannot allow this from happening again and again and again. So that's why we have to be strong. We have to impose additional sanctions for these activities. And if someone thinks that hybrid tools are the ones to achieve political results, we should deny them this perspective and deny this scenario. That's why we should agree within the European Union on the hybrid regime, sanctions hybrid regime on Belarus. And that would prevent for us from the future to see again something else weaponized on the border. And they see no limits in it. With resilience, we can build stronger deterrence. And in building deterrence, we need stronger armed forces. And our capabilities being up to the level what we all committed and agreed, up to the NATO capability targets. Only then our regional plans will be executable. And only with executable regional plans, we can then tell Russia that, look, this is not only how we write that we will fight, but this is how we will fight if it is needed. And we are the front runners in doing this. And I'm really proud for all of us, and I'm really proud that, that we will make it faster than the others. But it will be not enough. It will be not enough. And all the others, looking through the map to the southwest, they have to do the same. They have to increase the spending. And in increasing the spending, we will stimulate our defense industries. And defense industry for the Baltic region will be the next big thing. In Lithuania, it is growing 20% each year. I'm sure that the numbers are similar in other Baltic countries. We will attract more investment, and we will show why to do this here, because this is the place where resilience is of paramount importance. And finally, history and memory of the crimes of the totalitarian regimes that were committed here. We cannot allow it being manipulated. We cannot allow it being targeted by Russia or by the others. And that's why we have to work on it, Baltic countries together at all levels, and especially in Brussels. And that's why Lithuania is so committed to build the memorial for victims of totalitarianism in Brussels. And that's why I'm calling my friends and relatives and also the ones that experience same destinies to support us in doing this. We have to leave it as the very reminder what happens when we allow totalitarian regimes that are rebuilding themselves now if we are not strong. We have to be strong and to stop it. Resilient, once again. Thank you for being here and for me having here.
Paldies, Lietuvas ārlietu ministra.
Thank you, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Lithuania. We have still a bit of time for some questions from journalists, but please state your name and the media agency you represent. Hello, Richard Millers from Latvian Radio. This question is for all ministers of foreign affairs. Yesterday, Lithuania announced that Latvia and Estonia are ready to act in solidarity if our neighboring state continues its hybrid attacks. Will a decision follow to close the border with Belarus or some travel restrictions to Belarus?
starting.
You first established border with Belarus.
Yes, thank you for this question. We agreed I'm starting. We have no border with Belarus in Estonia yet. I think that it will remain like this. But of course, we are solidar with our partners in Baltic states. If Lithuania has a problems, if Latvia will have a problem, we act together. We are doing many things together already right now. If we're talking about closing the border between Estonia and Russia, we are ready to do it within an hours. We are ready to act if we see the threat from that, so it's all there. And also we have been cooperating, we have got help from Lithuania, Latvia, and the other way around. Our people, they have been supporting Lithuania, Latvia, if there is a more intensive situation on the borders. But of course, what is now happening from Russian and Belarusian side against Lithuania and Latvia as well, using these balloons and everything and smuggling. So this is a new level, how Russia is pushing us, and we need to cooperate here, not only as a three Baltic states, but as well NATO, as well European Union. And my colleague just came back from US. I think this transatlantic cooperation is very important as well. This is not the Lithuanian problem. This is our common European security problem, and Russia and Belarus is violating it again and again using the new weapons. Thank you.
Yes, of course, solidarity with Lithuania on the balloons and also with Estonia on a number of cases. So we obviously have a very aligned situation, a very aligned position on all of that. On the crossing of the border, we in Latvia have stopped the so-called non-regular transport, non-regular movement of passengers across the border, and the Minister of Transport has announced that no new licenses for the bus transports for, traffic will be issued. So it's pretty straightforward approach on our side. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. I thank my colleagues for this true solidarity and an understanding that was shown from the very beginning. I'm happy that we have the shared assessment of the situation, what it is. That is the hybrid attack against us all. This airspace is of NATO airspace. This is the European airspace, and disruptions in it means disruptions for all of us. That's why it has to be started with the shared assessment and understanding. And the strong message was sent to Belarus. This is hybrid, what you are doing, and this is against us all. This is the first step. The second step, we have to discuss the measures, countermeasures that we have in our possession, nationally, regionally, at the EU level, and at the NATO level. At the NATO level, we already have support from the counter-hybrid instruments, and now we are using it. At the EU level, we will have these discussions what concerns sanctions against Belarus, new sanctions regime, and then sanctions in different sectors. If these activities are not stopped right now, at the regional level, those instruments that we have, of course, is related to the border control and on border regulation. We have already very good and exemplary, again, cooperation on customs services, what concerns the enforcement of sanctions, what concerns the procedures that we apply on the border. Same with the border crossing. We have to coordinate when we use it as the response measure. And I'm happy that we see it same. Of course, our situation is different. Physically is different. The number of crossing points is different. But the very fact that we are coordinating it and sharing the plans, the dates, and the scale, and see what the consequences will be, this is a good thing. And it allows us to prevent manipulations from Belarusian side, as they did with instrumentalized migration. Put the pressure on Poland, relief a bit on the Lithuania and Latvia. Put on Lithuania, relief on Latvia and Poland, and so forth. And the same, it happened also with Russia, just to remind you. There was always the same scheme. One is beaten, another one is rewarded, and third one is just ignored. And they were trying to play this all the time. We have to deny this, and coordination, that this is the tool forward. So I really hope that the Belarusian regime will review what they're doing right now, put it into the bigger picture of what it is, against whom they are acting like this, and there will be no need for additional measures to be implemented. Thank you.
Labdien, Gatis Suhaveckis, TV3
Hello, Gatis Suhaveckis from TV3 Latvia. A question to all foreign affairs ministers. In a statement adopted today, the Baltic states urge the European Union and the G7 to finally agree on reallocated Russia's frozen assets to Ukraine. What is your assessment on the Baltic ability to affect the decision-making at a European level to make sure that a result favorable to Ukraine and to us is achieved in this matter of reparations? Could I ask Madam Braže to respond in Latvian, please? Thank you. Okay, then I'll be the first to respond. The political decision has been made in the EU Council, stating that the frozen assets will not be released to Russia until Russia pays for the damages done to Ukraine. And it paid the reparations as well as a cause of that. So this is the big political framework that has been adopted. The next step is the mechanism to effectively allocate these resources to Ukraine. They are located in several EU countries, and the question is about legal guarantees. If this is not done in a legally correct way, whether the responsibility will be shared or taken up by individual states, and this is what the Commission is waiting proposals on, and then the proposals will be discussed by the leaders. But of course, this is not an open process, not a public process, but this is a very particular and correct process, going through all the bullet points. So although we don't see it, work is ongoing to find ways to allocate these resources for Ukraine.
Yes, this is a topic what we have been pushing heavily already close to 3 years. And I'm very frank and honest, nobody wanted to talk about it. Yes, and now we have a breakthrough within the last 3 months. And I just come back from Berlin, the bilateral visit, and one main topic I discussed with our colleague Johan Wadepool, as a Foreign Minister of Germany, and some others as well, is that how can we together now find a way, find a solution, a legal solution, and also how can we find the answers for Belgium questions, how can we secure the Belgium, because Belgium holds all of these assets of Russia, and we need to give the guarantees. Germany is in all in. It's a good thing. It's not our problem in the meaning to pushing this, and many others as well. And I do hope that we will find the political decision on in December. Commission will work more with the details, but there is one principle what we want to have in the conditions, that before, if ever, Russia will have claim on these assets, there must be full-scale payments for the reparations. I mean, the damages will be compensated by Russia, and also territorial integrity principle will be written there. So we must be very clear, juridically as well, what and when will happen. And before Russia is doing these two things, Russia won't have any rights for these assets. Thank you.
Thank you. I totally agree with my colleagues. That was the result is also of the persistent attempts of the Baltic countries to raise this issue and not to leave it aside. And Lithuania, in the last half a year, prepared at least 2 non-papers on this topic, on the international legal circumstances and also on the economic and financial risk of this move. And we were addressing each time when someone is presenting as additional obstacle to do this, because this is the right thing, this is the legal thing, to use the frozen assets, and we can manage the risks. That's our position. As we did with the freezing of the assets, as we did with the euro loan scheme, there were also concerns. Oh, what about this? What about that? And how what will be how the euro will look like in international exchange markets and so forth. And we managed it. So I'm convinced that we can do this time also, because we do not have many alternatives. And in the ones that are skeptical, we hear the arguments about the risks, we address them, but the ones who are skeptical, as the rule, have the least appetite to additionally support Ukraine, or at least keep the same level of support to Ukraine. And we know the needs of next year for the war efforts and then also for macroeconomical stability. Where else we will get this money from? And then if we are talking the frozen asset scenarios, we also should talk then about the military scenarios that would be really bad. And then we cannot avoid this discussion, because it is connected to each other. That's why this elegant, nice way and solution that the Commission is proposing, with not giving away, with not seizing and giving it away to Ukraine, but with using through double loan system, is a good one, and it's a safe one. On top of this, and what I talked to our American friends about, we have to do it in coordination within G7 and with American also frozen assets. That would be even stronger message and the global one. And yes, the condition of reparations, it's very principle in it. Russia has to pay for everything. And that is already 600 billion worth of destructions that were done and created in Ukraine. And they're responsible for it. And then they have to pay for it.
Liels paldies mēdīju pārstāvjiem par.
Thank you, journalists, for your interest. I hereby close the press conference, and let's meet next year in Tallinn.